Specter of the silent sea, a colossal shadow rising from still waters. Sailors once spoke of a terrifying being, an ocean spirit as massive as a mountain, known to rise from waters so calm they looked dead. They did not fear storms, nor monstrous winds. No, the greatest fear of ancient Japanese seafarers was a night without waves. A sea trapped in silence, a darkness that breathed without sound. In those moments, before disaster, even the oldest fishermen would spit gently into the sea, not out of superstition, but to make sure the ocean was still alive. One night, a small wooden fishing vessel slid quietly across K Bay. The moon had not yet climbed into the sky, but strangely, it was not completely dark. The ocean shimmered with an unnatural silver glow that came from nowhere. The water looked emotionless, soulless, like a face without expression. Then it appeared. From the distant surface, something black began to rise. No head, no shoulders, no limbs, only a massive, curved shape, like a mountain of flesh, lifting from the water without causing a single ripple. It towered above the boat, twice as tall as the mast, yet made no sound. It simply stood there, as if listening. The helmsman trembled and whispered a single name, Umabozu. The entire crew froze, their lungs ached, but no one dared breathe loudly, because legend warned, the moment anyone asked it a question, especially, "What are you?" it would unleash its fury and drown every soul. The only way to survive its presence was to remain as silent as the sea itself. No one died that night, but not a single sailor returned to the waters for 49 days. During those days, the ocean remained unnaturally calm, as if that being still watched from just below the surface. Umabozu, whose name translates to sea monk, is one of the most mysterious spirits in Japanese folklore. It has no consistent form, no identified species, no trace of a body ever found. No one can truly describe it, yet every story shares one terrifying truth. Umabozu only shows itself when the sea becomes unnaturally still. Descriptions vary. Some sailors from the Edo period, 1603 to 1868, claimed it looked like a giant shadow, round like a hill, rising 2 to 3 times the height of a fishing boat. Others said it resembled the smooth head of a bald monk, with its body lost below the surface. Some swore it had no face at all, while others described a twisted face without eyes. Its form could stretch into long arms, collapse, or disappear like smoke. But the most disturbing detail? It appears suddenly, without warning, without reason, and just watches. Japanese fishermen didn't fear towering waves as much as they feared the stillness before them. If an area of moving water suddenly froze into an unnatural calm, they believed Umabozu has arrived. They said the waves were the breath of the sea, and when the sea stopped breathing, something ancient had stolen that rhythm. Mysteries beneath the waves. Mermaids, are they real? Are they beings born from ancient waters, woven of myth and memory? Or are they reflections of humanity's deepest longing, half human, half ocean, caught between two worlds? In a quiet fishing settlement along the storm-carved shores of the Scottish Strait, there is a tale that refuses to die. It speaks of a child who never uttered a single word. Night after night, the child would wander to the jagged coastline, sit upon a lonely rock, and gaze endlessly into the abyss of the dark sea, as though waiting for someone only they could sense. The ocean wind would howl, waves would crash like distant drums, yet the child remained still, watching. One night, gripped by worry, the child's father secretly followed. What he saw emptied the breath from his chest. The child stood waist deep in icy black water, whispering, not in English, nor in Gaelic, nor in any language known to man, but in strange, melodic tones that did not belong to this world. A language of tides, a language of sorrow. Terrified, the father waded forward, shouting their name, tearing them away from the pull of the waves. But as he dragged the child back to shore, he froze. The child's eyes, wide, shimmering, held a grief so raw that it seemed something precious had just slipped beneath the surface and vanished forever. At dawn, villagers found something by the shoreline. In a worn fishing basket, tangled among wet seaweed and sand, lay a long shimmering strand of silver hair, far too long for any human. The villagers said nothing. They did not ask where it came from. In some places, silence is not fear, but respect. Mermaids, The ocean's greatest mystery, a being drawn and redrawn by countless cultures. Half human, half sea, half dream, half soul. A savior in some legends, a killer in others. To some, she is a guardian spirit. To others, a monster. She is desire, and she is doom. Yet no matter how storytellers change her face, one thing across the world remains eerily consistent. A mermaid does not need a mouth to call. She sings inside the mind. She whispers in dreams. She is heard not with ears, but with the secret heart of those who listen. So perhaps the question is not, do mermaids exist? The true question is, why do we so desperately want them to? Is it because the sea is too vast, and humans too alone? Do we imagine someone waiting for us beneath the waves because we cannot bear the thought that the ocean, like life, contains wonders we will never touch? Or is it something deeper? Maybe, just maybe, the ocean dreams of us, the same way we dream of it. Awakening of the World Coil, legend or hidden reality. Dim, faint, forgotten. Jormungandr, the colossal ocean serpent said to wrap itself around the entire globe. A legend, they say. A tale. But if it truly exists, is it simply slumbering in the unreachable abyss? Beneath every charted sea lies something unnamed, unseen, unsettling. At times, I imagine the world's oceans stretched like a great skin. Beneath it rests something vast, motionless, silent. Yet with each breath, the entire surface shifts along with it. When I was a child, I once heard a hushed tale inside an old fishing hut by the port of Bergen. An ancient sailor with only one eye told me, our ship once drifted across a patch of water that defied reason. No wind, no waves, yet every one of us vomited. It wasn't seasickness. It was like standing over something alive, something breathing just under the surface. Those words lodged in my memory. I didn't truly grasp them then, and I still can't claim certainty now. But the deeper I explore, old naval reports, maritime charts, archived logs, recorded hydrophone signals, the more I feel there is something unusual that connects them all. Humanity has dreamed of a single creature across generations. No limbs, no visible organs, no recognizable eyes, just an enormous serpentine form curled endlessly like a looped bloodstream around the earth. We dismiss ancient myths as stories of old imaginations, but if you've ever faced a dark, endless ocean under a starless sky, no boat lights, nothing but freezing black water and movement without a name. Not all stories are fiction. In Norse myth, Jormungandr is a boundless serpent coiling around the world, forming a living barrier. Its tail rests in its mouth, completing the eternal loop. It bears another name, the Midgard serpent. Norse prophecies declare that if it awakens, the world's destruction, Ragnarok, will begin. Yet what disturbs researchers most is this. Cultures across distant continents, with no shared contact, all speak of the same guardian serpent of the world. Details change, but its purpose remains the same, protector of a boundary. In Konungsskuggsea, a 13th century Norwegian manuscript, Jormungandr is portrayed as the edge of existence itself. Its stirring summons the sea into motion. That sounds poetic, until scholars compared it to the Egyptian Ouroboros, the serpent devouring its own tail, symbol of immortality and cosmic order. The first known drawing of the Ouroboros appears in the Dendra texts around 1600 BCE, nearly 3,000 years before the Norse even wrote about Jormungandr. Meaning, this ancient cosmic serpent existed in human consciousness before Norse myth was ever born. In India, Naga is not mere myth but a spiritual force tied to water, rebirth, and hidden dimensions. In parts of Kerala, people still offer prayers to sea serpents to ensure harmony between land and ocean. The Manarasala temple, said to rest upon a massive serpent spirit, was built with shock-absorbing stone, engineered long before modern science to adapt to unseen subterranean vibrations. Archaeologists have revealed its foundations are designed to survive underground tremors, as if the builders already knew something stirred beneath the land. In Japan, they speak of Yamada no Orochi, the eight-headed dragon lurking beneath sacred waters, guardian of the passage between the human and divine. Legends say whenever mortals trespass too close, the monster consumes the land. In 1964, Lake Ashi quaked violently for weeks, yet no geological fault existed below it. No visible cause fish died in swarms, locals whispered, The Serpent was breathing. Scientists later confirmed unexplained microseismic shockwaves beneath the lake, with no known source. The Maya worshipped Kukulkan, a feathered serpent sleeping within the earth, rising only when nature's balance is disturbed. Iceland has its own word for it. So does Polynesia. So does Siberia. Different names, same presence, an ancient force. Not living, not dead. Not hunting, just waiting. And sometimes, when the seafloor shifts as if something deep below has turned in its sleep. When waves rise without wind and fall without cause, we remember. This being does not need believers. It is not bound by myth. It is the echo of forgotten truth, a warning carved into the oldest stone of humanity. There are borders in this universe, and some are not meant to be crossed. The ocean has never finished its story, and the next chapter may not come from beasts of flesh, but from something that predates life, something dreaming, something that once sent a voice through our waters, and that voice was named Bloop. In 1997, NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, was scanning the South Pacific seabed when their deep-water microphones detected a noise unlike anything ever recorded. It was not whale song, not mechanical, not seismic. It erupted from the bottom of the world, an otherworldly groan that rolled across 5,000 kilometers of ocean. The team nicknamed it Bloop, and it has never been heard again. At first, scientists thought it might be an animal, but when they compared volume and frequency, they realized no known life form on Earth could produce a sound that massive. Some called it an icequake, glaciers cracking underwater. But one mysterious detail is rarely mentioned. Just 3 weeks after the Bloop recording, a Japanese survey ship, the Maru Maru 3, lost all navigation systems while sailing through the exact coordinates of the Bloop source. No power failure, no storm, no mechanical issue, just silence, electronics dead, sonar blank, radar gone. The chief engineer later said, "It felt like the ship passed through a hollow space in the sea. Like the water wasn't water anymore." But Bloop wasn't alone. Over the years, NOAA recorded other unexplainable deep-sea sounds. Julia, a long, low moan, like something ancient exhaling for the last time. Slow down, a descending cry, as if something enormous sinking back into sleep. Upsweep, ascending tones, like claws dragging across stone in the dark. All were recorded in empty regions. No ships, no volcanism, no human activity, none ever repeated. If you've ever been far out at sea, no land in sight, night sky sealed in black. You know, the scariest thing isn't what you see. It's the moment the world goes silent, as if something in the deep is listening first. And then came the witnesses, men and women who saw, not monsters, but boundaries. In 1971, a Norwegian fishing boat vanished near Iceland. It was found drifting days later, engines still on, crew alive but mute. After months in a psychiatric ward, the captain finally spoke a single sentence. "We crossed water with no bottom." Something beneath us turned. He never sailed again. In 1986, a Soviet deep-sea research sub recorded a crewman gasping, "There's a giant eye outside the glass." Then everything shut down for 12 minutes. Systems, lights, even communications, but the black box captured breathing, not from anyone on board. In 2003, marine scientist Leah Martinez detected a sonar wave that didn't travel straight. It bent, coiling, as if something massive was wrapped around the sea itself. She didn't say she found a monster. She said, "I think I found a boundary the world was not meant to cross." Ancient cultures already knew this. Some truths are not for conquering. The Naga is not an enemy. It is a reminder. The deep sea is not a territory. It is a limit. And what lives beneath doesn't care who rules the land. Strength means nothing to the abyss. The ocean does not reward pride. It honors silence, respect, awareness. If Jormungandr exists, it's not here to destroy us. It waits to remind us that the end begins only when humans forget they are not the center of existence. Maybe the serpent isn't a physical creature. Maybe it is something greater, a cosmic law, a memory in our blood, a voice in our nightmares. Maybe it waits, not in the sea, but in the moment humanity finally crosses a line it should not. Because some things are better left asleep. And now, we return to where all of this began, a sound from the deep. Not a roar, not a warning, but a signal, a message. Not asking, "What is it?" but asking, "Are we ready to hear it?" And more importantly, should we?